Hi everyone, my name is David Capetti and welcome to this Rhino and Grasshopper tutorial. What I'll be going over with you guys today is how I use dimensions. And so here's a few things. Let's get started here. So I'll double click here and go to dim for dimensions. One of the ones that I use is line dimension, and I use that with like if I have a dome, so I know the length of each strut. The other one that I use is align dimension. So we'll start with align dimension. First thing we're going to need is, so let's actually bring in that component. So dim, and we'll do align dim. What it's asking is a plane, so where it's going to draw that dimension, point A, point B, so start and end point, offset, text, which is going to be if you want to override the text, size is going to be the size of it, and offset is going to be how much is going to be offset from the original 2 points. So I'll go here and go to construct point, and I'll take this point, I'll actually move it, and we'll say in the X direction. This is going to be, we can say 20, and change this to size. X. So we'll do 20 units in the X direction. I'll go ahead and group this together. Now let's go ahead and plug in both of those points. So we'll do point A and point B, and automatically we have something. But as you can see, we have it a little bit too close, and the text is a little bit too large. So when we hover over offset, it's going to say 1. Text, it's going to be blank. Size is going to be 1. So we can change that. If we want to decrease the size, we could say, let's see, 0.5. And for the offset, we'll go to 20. Oh, as you can see, when you do text of 20, it'll change the text to 20. And this will help us move it around. Now, as you can see, we can have an override text, so we can bring in a panel. This way we can type in whatever we want. So if we want to say this is overall width X, you can plug that into the text. But that would actually override it. So let's change this to dim size. And we'll change this one to dim offset. Sometimes we could reuse some of these if we're going to do more dimensions. Now we can move this point in the Y direction. So let's do the same thing. Let's take this, I'll copy it over, move it in the Y direction, and I'll actually plug in this point. So one of the cool things is when we have 2 points from here to here, we can actually create a rectangle. So if we create a rectangle from 2 points, we can plug in the original point into A, this one into B. So now we can say like this is going to be like the footprint or something, and our offset is actually 6, but it's 6 into the inside. So let's actually change that by bringing in a negative value. We can change that offset to be on the other side. Next thing we can do is bring in another dimension. So we'll copy this and we'll start at this point and we'll overwrite it and we'll end at this point. And as you can see, the offset is going to be also in the positive direction, or it's going to be offset in this direction. And we can have our offset change here. As you can see, that's kind of how I would lay out some overall dimensions. Let's say if you're trying to do a structure or if you're trying to do a design and you want to know the overall width, this is kind of the best way to do it to create some dimensions. Now, I'll save this and we'll do another exercise. And the next exercise is actually going to be like if you have a dome, just to know how the length of each one of those struts. So I'll go ahead and take this, we'll move this down here, and I'll middle click and disable. Now let's double click here. Let's do that. Let's double click here and go to a sphere. And actually no, let's do a quick line and then we can create a dome shape. So let's create that quickly. Let's go to a point. Let's go here to construct point. We'll move this vertically using the move component. In the motion, we'll plug in the unit Z vector. And now we can move that up a certain amount. So let's go to 30. Now let's create a line between those two. So I'll create a line with this being the starting point and this being the end point. Now I'll actually extrude this line in the X direction. So I'll go plug in the line into the base. Now let's go to unit X. And let's copy this slider over. So we'll say height. And I'll group this together. And then this will be the structure width. Let's go here. And I'll group this together. Now I'll actually move also this point to the right. So now we have the point here at the bottom, this one here at the top. Now I'm going to create one in the middle. Now we can easily also pick this point and just take this point, move it up and create a curve here. But let's actually use the evaluate surface and plug in this extrusion into the surface, and we'll go ahead and reparameterize and also use the MD slider. So we'll pick a point along that surface. Now we can create an arc through 3 points, this being the middle point, this being point A, and this being point C. So as you can see, we can change this way, and now we can revolve this arc. So we'll plug that into the curve. For the axis, we'll use a line, which was the one that we created originally that we extruded out. So now with this, let's go ahead and just apply a pattern on it. So I'll go to Lunchbox, and if you don't have Lunchbox, you can download that for free in Food for Rhino. And this is just how I quickly subdivide it. There's other ways to subdivide things. This one just has some defaults. So I'll go to see if diagonal grid. Yep, that works. And let's change. So I'll do 20. And we'll do divided by 2. And we'll change this to be subdivisions. Whoop. So now we can change this if we want to. But what's critical is that we have the structural lines, and those we can plug in our line dimension. And let's plug in our structural lines into the line here. And for the size, let's just copy the dim size slider. And let's enable it and use that as our text size. So now we can technically hide everything here except for the dimensions. And this is a way we can get how big it's going to be. Now they're all saying 0.4, and that's because the dim size is a little large, so it tends to round it down. Or actually, no, that's going into the text. So that's the complete wrong one. Let's go here. And as you can see down here, when we get to the smaller ones, we want to be able to read those and see the lines starting and ending. So if you're trying to develop a dome or something like that, this is a way you can get your overall dimensions for your struts and make sure that you have the proper diameter and you have all of your design worked out. So that's the way that I dimension structures like this. And the last thing that I want to show is how to overall dimension. So I'll use something similar to this line dimension, and I'll take a box component and I'll plug in that surface, basically this this dome. We'll create a box around it. We'll deconstruct this B-rep, and we can use these edges, and we can show overall dimensions also. If I came here and I said dimension size gonna change, we can bring this up to a larger size. So we know this is going to be 60 this way, 60 this way, and it's going to be 30 tall. And all of the sizes and dimensions will change automatically as soon as you update something like this slider, right? And if all of a sudden 10 is too large, where we can always come back here to our subdivisions and create more, right? That's a little bit too much, but you get the point. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll have the script for these exercises. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you would like to check out similar content, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to download the script, go ahead and go to capettidavid.com, and there will be a video scripts button for you to click on. There is a $5 fee to sign up, but you will be allowed to download all the scripts from the past, and also all the scripts that I'm going to post in the future. So this is a place where you can find not only videos, but a way to contact me. And I also have other services like tutoring and other courses that I post on other sites. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube for future videos, and I hope to see you next time.